Scientists warned about this 13 years ago, but nobody seemed to want to listen. Everyone was like, yeah, there's a big subduction zone, Pacific Ring of Fire. That is the one. No, they said stress was building up in one specific spot under Colombia. And today, I have to say, Shizzy hit the fizzy, magnitude 7.4 earthquake in a spot where everyone thought that's impossible. Why is this happening there? So they said that spot never has big earthquakes. What the scientists are saying, BS. But guys, really, when you see the videos that I am about to show you in this video, you won't believe it. Because when I saw them first, I was like, no way, this is AI. So I waited a few hours before I even made this video for you because I needed to verify these videos. They are crazy. While I tell you about this mystery fault that just broke, I'll show you all the videos, but I want to show you this one here, the construction workers, because this is crazy. You see the rebar swing, and of course they're worried the building's not finished, and they're worried that the building might collapse. We've seen this in Myanmar with a tower that wasn't finished. But when they actually calm down a little bit later on, and the guy who films swings the camera over the city, and you see the dust clouds. You see these dust clouds. After Venezuela, only 49 days ago, we know what the dust clouds mean. Collapsed buildings, and that gives you shivers down your spine. Absolutely horrifying, because we know what happened in Venezuela. So what has happened here, it's absolutely tragic. Stress, yes, they warned. It's building underneath a spot underneath Colombia that is not the offshore subduction zone. So scientists were arguing the spot there almost never has big earthquakes, and that this is the problem, not the comfort. Why? Because they said that the lack of destructive quakes there suggested that the stress was still accumulating uninterrupted. So that means once it finally breaks, it breaks bigger most likely. And they said it could produce strong ground motion, aka earthquakes. This morning it did. The thing that broke has actually also a name. Geologists call it the Caldas Tear. It's basically a rip inside a slab of sunken ocean floor that is running east to west underneath Colombia, following the scar of an ancient undersea ridge. It exists because if we go back 10 million years ago, Panama is the culprit. Panama rammed into South America and basically has jammed the machinery. That is what we can say. On one side of the tear, the ocean floor now dives down steeply, and on the other side, it basically flattens out. And if we look north of that tear, of the Caldas Tear, there are no volcanoes at all. Usually at subduction zones, we have volcanoes, right? The earth up there stopped breathing. That's why there's no volcanoes. Look at where the buildings came down today. Lots of buildings came down. I'm about to tell you in a second. And then you're looking at the scene. If you zoom out, we have satellite images. We don't have it yet, but if we had. Because this quake didn't happen in Colombia. It happened underneath it. To be precise, 66 miles down. That's 107 kilometers. That's roughly 10 times deeper than a passenger jet flies high. 10 times the height a passenger jet flies. And the rock down there has torn open quite significantly for 65 miles. That's 105 kilometers in only around 25 seconds. That's how long the shaking was. But the force, guys, the force that was released was equal to almost 2 megatons of TNT, of dynamite, more than 100 Hiroshimas. 100. Going off deeper than any hole that any human ever dug. That just to understand where that was. But what stood me up cold is that this was the lucky version. What we see here is the lucky version. How? I mean, what does the bad version look like? There's something much worse sitting off Colombia's coast. off the coast, and it didn't move today, thankfully. Out in the Pacific, we're dealing with the Pacific Ring of Fire. The ocean floor is sliding, subducting beneath South America. And that boundary is where the monsters usually come from. 1906, it tore open for more than 300 miles, that's 500 kilometers, at close to magnitude 9. We know the subduction zones do that. Roughly 120 times more powerful than today's earthquake. Think about this. Today's earthquake, 120 times more powerful. So the subduction earthquake produced a 16-foot wall of water into the coastal town of Tumaco basically right away, but the wave also crossed the entire Pacific Ocean. It was recorded in Hawaii, California, Japan, and up to 1,500 people drowned. So of course today, everyone thought, this must be the subduction zone, tsunami alert, right? Everyone looked into this because that same stretch of subduction zone has torn open 3 more times since then. 1979, 20 wave foot ended most of the several hundred who died that night. 2016, another one killed 676 people, injured 16,000 people. And it is still out there, guys. It's still locked and loaded. So today, Colombia's Marine Authority has ruled out any tsunami within the hour. So that was a big relief. This quake was too deep and too far inland to push water, and it was a different kind of quake. But nonetheless, we already have confirmation. 111 people were lost today. Watch what the shaking did on its way up. You see it behind me. 34 million people felt it. Colombia's disaster agency says it reached all 32 department capitals. 34 million. That's the entire country. They felt it in Panama City, more than 200 miles away. They felt it in Ecuador, and they felt it in Venezuela. Also in Bogotá, 250 miles east, walls cracked. Crazy. City in the middle of all of this, they were not so lucky. In Pereira, roof of the international airport terminal came down. The footage shows travelers on the floor while the ceiling falls around them. 5 more airports were damaged and shut. In Cali, a city of 2 million people, 30 buildings collapsed. That's the number we have now. All the numbers I'm telling you, they will probably increase, guys. People are trapped underneath rubble right now. Hospital patients were wheeled out onto the street in their beds. In Manizales, cathedral split open in the small town of El Cairo. Governor says nearly 80% of their town is damaged. More than 20 towns hit hard. Hundreds of buildings damaged, if not thousands. Definitely, we already know 61 flattened outright, more than 1,500 homes damaged, 52 schools, 18 hospitals and clinics. Numbers are rising. 111 people lost so far, 87 injured, some of them children, and that number is going to climb. We know that from Venezuela, unfortunately. And then, the province at the center is jungle. There, the roads are bad. Almost nothing has come out of it yet, yeah? So what's happening there? Colombia's Geological Service says this is the strongest earthquake the country has recorded this century. And an aftershock already hit less than an hour later, magnitude 5.0. And here's the fact that explains everything that you're watching while I'm talking. In 1999, a far weaker quake struck the city of Armenia, not the country, city, it's there. Ended more than 1,100 people. That's a fraction of today's power, but 10 times the people lost so far. So the difference was it was shallow. Depth is the only reason that this one, how they say, wasn't a catastrophe. Sounds weird, but yes, had this been more shallow, you don't even want to think about it. 48 days ago, we had the double earthquake in Venezuela, 7.2, 39 seconds later, 7.5. So far, more than 5,000 people lost. That's next door in Venezuela. Rescuers are still busy trying to find people when this happened today. Colombia's new president was sworn in Friday, and now by Monday, the president has already declared a national disaster and has taken personal command of the rescue. So the slab that was breaking this morning has been sinking for 10 million years, and the tear in it is still there. And the dangerous subduction zone off the coast hasn't moved. And the interesting part is what happened here. This happened inside the sunken ocean floor itself, not the subduction zone. So instead of one slab shoving up over another, the rock here tore sideways. So that's why the real monster offshore, the subduction, never moved. We've seen the beach ball that the USGS has released, and they call it primarily strike slip faulting. So like the San Andreas fault, not like a subduction zone, right? The boundary offshore is a thrust, one plate climbing over another. This one, sideways. Guys, I'll keep you updated about this. Let's hope and pray for the people that are affected. This is absolutely horrible, and my heart goes out to them, and I bet your hearts too. So let's hope for the best, although we know that a lot of that stuff has already happened. I'll keep you updated. I see you in the next one. And if you want to know about, they call it killer volcano that just woke up, that is a bad guy, and it did bad stuff in the past to a city. It basically has wiped it out. Check out this one, guys. It's crazy.